So you do vertical to go live on YouTube now. They change everything to vertical. They do that all the time. I feel like all companies do that. If something is trending, and they do it.
YouTube, it's vertical. Has to be vertical.
Mm-hmm. So we live vertical on YouTube here.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm looking at it. It's vertical. It's literally like this, and it says live. And it said you have to rotate it back. I would have to do it in advanced settings to change it, but it's really not necessary. But I wanted to talk about with you something that can help other people. I've been applying what Miss Weaver has been saying.
Vaughn Weaver, shout out.
Vaughn Weaver. So what I'm noticing is this. I'm noticing when you just believe and follow God. You have to be conditioned to do it, though. I do believe that. So you got to be conditioned to follow God. But once you get conditioned, when you follow God, everything works out. It just falls in place. Because for us, for instance, we are making God our head. We're dedicating ourselves totally to God, what we understand and know God to be. We're dedicating ourselves totally to that. The minute we do that, things start working very quickly and very
Harmoniously.
powerfully too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another key component is also, like, I don't want to say, like, everyone should put God
Come
first,
over here.
but I think that understanding your relationship to God is the first part. What does that even mean to you? Because it's going to look different for you. It's going to look different for me. Figure out what it is for yourself first. What do you want it to mean? Because that's why a lot of people, we go to church and we look for someone else to tell us what it means to have a relationship with God. It's not really how it works. It's personal.
Exactly.
Figure that out first, and then make that the priority.
Because I think it's two components too. It's a connection with God first. And then secondly is working with God second. So connection and working. First, you got to be connected.
Exactly.
After you connect it, then you can start working it. But you have to be connected with God first. Without being connected to God, this conversation means nothing to you.
Exactly.
It's just words.
Exactly.
If you are connected to God, this conversation makes sense to you.
Yep.
So that's first. Second, how do you work with God? Listen to the small voice that guides you step by step on what to aim for, on what to do, on how big,
In
on
the moment, what to say.
What to say.
I feel like that's a big one that gets lost.
Where to go, yeah. What to say.
Like when we were talking about something earlier, and we were like, it's like both of us were searching for a word that we were being told to say. What word was it? Fun or no? It was
Yours was fun. You said it's giving fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was giving fun. So you have to have God first in connection. Then the working with God is you just need to understand God. It's like a person.
Yeah.
Once you understand a person, you know how that person works. You don't have to think about it.
Exactly.
It's just, this is how Josh is. This is how Alicia is.
And it only works because you've created that relationship to where you know. Because you create it. You get to decide what that relationship is. What does that dynamic look like?
Right.
Okay, now this is what I'm working with because I have now established what it looks like.
Exactly.
So now I can move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you know what the connection is, then you just start working with the connection. You start understanding God like a person.
Like you're in dating, like you understand the quirks of this person and what you love about them. And
Yeah.
what's annoying, but I love you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. You know what happened. Yeah. That's what it is. So when you doing that, that's working with God. So that's the reason why Miss Weaver,
Von Weaver. Yeah.
Von Weaver. That's the reason why she said, if you're an atheist, I can't help you. Because really, it doesn't work without that. Unless you know God.
Yeah, my message is not going to click for
It doesn't make any sense.
To this, but it's not going to click for
and that's what I was not understanding. My message has nothing to do for people who don't understand God. So what I spent a lot of time doing was educating people around why they can believe in God. I took the mental science of that and I started to help them understand. My name was the God Scientist. Because I was just trying to help people to understand who needed that logical basis. So that's the beginning. If you understand that God is real from a logical basis, and that the proof is everything in existence, including yourself, especially yourself, because you are that. You are a living divine expression and son of that, or offspring of that divine energy. Once you know that by experience, that's connection with God. Secondly is, how do I work with God to do this? Life. And it has to do with the Holy Spirit, which is the subconscious mind in books, but it's really the Holy Spirit. It's spirited. That and your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is a thinker. Your Holy Spirit is a knower and guide and director and comforter.
It's literally making me think about the golden funnel.
It is the golden funnel, yeah. That's what it is. What we're talking about is the golden funnel. I want to get at to people so badly. By the way, thank y'all, everybody who joined in. I appreciate y'all. Definitely golden funnel. If you don't have God, there's nothing I can do. Because the God is the very beginning of the funnel, if you look at it.
Exactly. As you're saying all these words, I'm thinking, what has all of these components?
Yes. Because the very first component is God. The second component is I am. The third component is my subconscious mind. The component after that is the soul, or the desire, which is really the soul. Then it's the principles that soul expresses itself in, which is really your mind. Then it's that principle of mind on a personal level, you. Then it's the reasons, the burn, the energy. The energy and the emotion that you have behind it that drives you in action, and how it happens on its own. That is the golden funnel. It has every single component of a manifestation in it. That's what it has. Every single component, because that's just how it works. Without the God part, you are stuck where you are. And you're stuck to be very logical all the time. And you have to explain so much to yourself to try to believe, and your belief slips in and out still.
Yes.
Because you don't have a direct experience, you can't hold on to something so powerful intellectually all the time. Intellect is not designed to hold frequency. You are a frequency, but intellect is not designed to hold frequency. It's designed to get you to a spot mentally in a perspective that makes it easy for you to feel something, but it's not designed for holding frequency. So you can be very, very logical, and it's not going to make any sense, because the power is not in logic. Logic helps you to keep the frame together and keep you directed, but it's not designed to generate energy.
Yeah.
That's not what it's for.
Yeah.
Creativity is emotion. It's really God, spirit. It's your spiritedness in a direction. It's your spiritedness in a direction. So if you got spiritedness, that means God is with you. God is directing you. God is guiding you. So if you have God guidance and God is guiding you, then you can be confident that, yes, God is guiding me. I'm doing the right thing. But the specific prayer that she said, if this is for me, God, open this door in such a way that no man can close it, including myself. And if this is not for me, close this door in such a way that no man can open it, include me. Because it is doors that you try to open up and they don't work. They fall apart. But if you make that request very clearly, that's totally in alignment with all the highest good for you. So it's also in alignment with what God will grant for you. You can't work with God the way your, let's call it, the flesh wants to work with God. It's not how it goes.
Yeah.
God works as God is. God never changes. God is always what God is. So you can't work with God in the way flesh wants you to. Your flesh wants to work with God. It doesn't work that way. You have to work how God works first, and God will work how you work second. Draw nigh unto me, I will draw nigh unto you. Another way to say it, nature obeys you in direct proportion to how first, well, you obey nature. God will work with you as far as you first understand the nature of God. That you can't change God. God doesn't change. So you have to learn how God works and then work with God.
That's why you have to establish that relationship.
You got to develop a connection. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. Everybody on TikTok, please go to YouTube. It's where all of the best content is. I'm doing long form content there. Live is here now. I didn't even know they had vertical live, but this is where we are. I appreciate everybody on YouTube.
That's what mine used to be. I used to do vertical live.
On YouTube?
Yeah, that's where I know my content.
I did not know. See, that's good to know. But you working with God is, that is the reason why it was so challenging for me. Because I wasn't talking about God to God people who already understand God. I was helping for a long time. I was passionate about helping people transition from maybe I don't believe no more until I actually know for sure. And I'm going to start working it. But now I'm in the mode of I've evolved. And I just like to serve people who understand it right now because it's actually an emergency in the world. If you don't believe at this point, you're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah.
We need the people who actually understand this to know how to work with
That's
God.
where the power is.
That's where the power is right now, and we need it.
Yeah.
So there's people. Thank you for liking it. It's people who are they know God, but they need some guidance on how to work with God. It's very simple.
Ooh, Shekinah. People just didn't know how to work with God. They felt like they were working with God to get their abundance.
Yes. When that cult, what was that called? Can you look up what that was called?
Wasn't it Shekinah?
I think it was called Shekinah.
Is the business.
But what was the stream called that we watched on Netflix? It was called Shekinah?
No.
I appreciate y'all for being here. Do me a favor and subscribe if you have not already. TikTok right here. What's up, TikTok? The reason I'm so interested in the God thing is because it works. It's the only thing that works to make you A, feel good, B, get absolutely everything you want, and help everybody else at the same time.
Dancing with the Devil.
That's what it's called? Dancing with the Devil. Go look that up.
On Netflix.
It was a dude who created a cult around preying on people who actually needed something to believe in. The reason that I want to talk this way is because of situations like that. Because in situations like that, if you think about it, they could never be tricked if they weren't misguided by their own fleshly desires. If you was following God completely, there's no way you can get tricked by a dude like that. What you doing? You looking it up?
Yeah. I got pulled into it.
I saw.
Very quick.
I just watched you.
Because the attention that it brought, she's like, well, now I feel insane. I didn't feel insane before the documentary. Now I do.
Who?
Miranda.
Miranda?
The girl that the documentary is about.
Oh, okay. I like how you're talking about God in a good way. Yeah, at this point, that's rare. They say God is dead. They say it's some teachers who choose not to use the word.
God is mad
They
at the
definitely say
world
that.
right now.
They say that, yeah. They just make stuff up.
Yeah.
People make stuff up. God don't have no anger in him. What is it to be angry
Yeah,
about?
I don't. Yeah.
It's nothing to be angry
It's
about.
all God's plan. Like, I don't understand. You can't
It's
do
all
that.
perfect.
Like,
So it makes no sense where we would get God is mad from. Well, yes, it would make sense where we got it from. The Bible always talk about God being angry and the wrath of God. Let's actually talk about the wrath. Because what the wrath of God actually is, it's not really the wrath of God. It's God is God.
Absence of God.
No.
Thinking there's an absence.
Nah, it's well, maybe it is the thinking that it's an absence, but I would say is this: God is is present everywhere in total power.
Mm-hmm.
So if you try to swim upstream and it's the Niagara Falls, right? You're gonna basically drown, right? If you're trying to physically swim against the current of the Niagara Falls, think about this. So if you can imagine somebody going full steam backwards against the Niagara Falls and they're trying to swim upstream, just imagine it. The stream, the Niagara Falls in the stream is not to blame. It's not trying to make you like drown you.
Yeah.
You're just putting yourself in a good position to drown by trying to swim upstream. It's the same with God and God's wrath. It's you are definitely swimming upstream. You're trying to make something happen that is not even in alignment with God. It doesn't work.
Not in alignment with the most natural flow of what is going on.
That's it. It's not. It doesn't work. So if that's the case, okay, it doesn't work.
Ooh. Or you're trying to, like the elevator door, you're trying to put pins and things in places they don't belong, and it's fucking up the flow. You're attaching your presence to this moment in the flow, but it's not supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So you take it out so that it can actually flow.
Yeah, remove impediments, purify impediments, and that means remove yourself. You don't know what you're doing.
Essentially, remove yourself. Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing. You have to get out the way.
Wow.
You have to get out the way. You don't know what you're doing. If you want to know what you're doing, you believe you know what you're doing, that is the first mistake. Human beings want to know that they know what they're doing, and they want to feel significant that they know what they're doing. When we don't know what we're doing. So accept that you don't know what you're doing. You said, I know everyone just play video games and just being wild, but you're talking about God. Yeah, true. It's different. And I like video games too, but this is more important to me. Because I play games a lot, but this is way more important to me. I love this more than I love anything else. And I think that is the difference. That really is the difference. It's you have to have something that matters more to you than fleshly callings. Let's put it that way. You have to have something that matters more to you than fleshly callings and cravings. Because if you don't have something that matters more to you than fleshly callings and cravings, you are going to be a victim to your physical urges and your needs. You're going to be a victim to your food that you need to eat. You're going to be a victim to the complaining that you have to do in a day, the roles that you have to keep up. You're going to be addicted to those things. You're going to be addicted to any fleshly thing, to something that could give you dopamine hits real quick. You can be addicted to those things. So by being addicted to those things, you're addicted to fleshly cravings. That's the only thing that takes you away from the divine energy of God, because it is two different energies. They're distinctly different. But when you got to get to the point where you absolutely are disgusted where you are. And that's where in the Bible it talks about repenting. That's when it talks about being baptized, being saved. really is being saved from this horrible circumstance. The circumstance, you can't be saved from your circumstance unless you stop swimming upstream. Your circumstance is fine. The problem is you're swimming upstream. It's your strategy. It's what you decide to do. It's your thoughts. You think in a certain way that makes you say, I need to swim upstream. Upstream is the way I need to go. No, I've learned in a book that you swim this way. So I'm going to swim this way because this book told me. But then you get out there and you're doing what the book says and you're drowning. It's like, but this makes so much logical sense to go this way. For whatever reason, I don't know why the book makes so much sense to how they can persuade you to go upstream, but that's what they tell you. You go upstream, it's not working the way that you want it to work. Because it's against the flow of the universe. It's against God and what God is. So it may look like it's working temporarily. See, people get tricked by this too. You think that it's working because you get a temporary, very, very quick physical return because you stole something. Okay, let's say you steal something. You just stole somebody's money. So now you have money in your bank. You scammed somebody. You see scammers do this all the time. Somebody got scammed. Somebody scammed $1,000 out of somebody's bank account. Okay. You got a very quick, immediate return. You think that that's a real return. You just withdrew. You just did a withdrawal 10x from your future bank account. 100x from your future bank account and your future life force. You just withdrew life force from your future. You just damaged your future. You just took away from yourself. You just stole from yourself because law of compensation says there are no unpaid debts. Everything gets repaid. Regardless what you think, everything gets repaid. Regardless what the contract says. Let's say you sign a contract, right? This contract was unfair and you giving all of this music, you signed a bad music deal. Now you got to go on tour for the next 13 years to pay back the $1 million that you got 13 years ago and it's not even worth it no more. Okay. That's a bad deal. But all of the people who you gave music to and you served received what you gave them. You can't lose out on the benefits that are coming back to you from the universe that you gave to those people. It's impossible for you to lose it. It may look like you've lost it because the record label has deceived you and taken your money, is what it looks like. And it got you to sign a contract that wasn't in the best interest of you. So yes, they did that. But if I'm on stage beaming my heart out and giving to people, yes, I made a mistake by signing a contract. But I am not able to stop the benefits of what the people get when I do music on stage. There's nothing I can't take away the fact that I'm going to receive 110 to 100 to 1,000x if I think about it. I made a deposit. I made a deposit into an ever-increasing 10x, 100x bank account. I made an energetic deposit in your life. That's going to compound interest over time, and it's going to come back to me at some point and be put back into my lap. That's the way that it works. That's how God works. God always works that way. But what we make the mistake of is, let's say we make the mistake of believing that let's say something just wrong. We just believe something wrong. Like, this will never come back to me. If you think it'll never come back to you, okay, not true, but let's say you believe it. You'll hold the benefit away while it continues to compound interest. But you already created the benefit and it's yours. So it's out there and it's creating good right now. It's growing. And future generations will reap the benefits of the energy that you put out too. Even though you may not accept it right now in this lifetime, if you did, you could receive an abundance. But you put it out there for people to enjoy, and it's out there for you to get a return from. The problem is, here's another thing I realize how God works. When you are wanting something, you will be presented an opportunity to give. That's what I noticed. If you want something, you will be presented an opportunity to give for no returns in the beginning. You'll just be led to give. It's going to be something that makes sense, though. See, this is another thing I don't think people talk about. They think God is nonsensical. Okay. What nonsensical means is God just makes you do stuff. Jump through this hoop, jump through that hoop. I want to see you dance like a monkey. That's not how God is. God doesn't work like dance like a monkey. God has no benefit in seeing you dance like a monkey. God works by laws. So if you want something, there's this law called giving and receiving, or the law of exchange, that you have to initiate before you receive. Because that's just how the universe is set up. It's set up that way so nobody can get anything that they didn't pay for. This is a good system, by the way. So the universe is set up perfectly so nobody can get anything that they have not given, and nobody can give anything that can receive anything that they have not given. So I can't take from you, you can't take from me. If I'm on here live and I'm giving you game, and this game is helping you out, I'm giving to you. I'm making deposits. Whatever these deposits are that I'm making in you right now, I know that I'm making the deposit because God is leading me to do this. I said, God, open the door in such a way that no man can close it, include myself. If this is the lane that I'm supposed to be in, then this message is going to come across and it's going to hit somebody the right way. That means that the way that this message is hitting right now is designed that way, regardless who's listening to it. So if it's one person, if it's two people, if it's 12 people, if it's 100,000, God is still guiding and leading the message. So as long as I'm following my gut, I'm following my unctions to give in the right times, I should be able, by knowing the law of the universe of exchange, I see where I'm gonna get where what I'm asking for. When it pops up, okay, person pops up on you, presents an opportunity. You see the opportunity. I think another thing is this: most people do not have discernment or depth of vision. They can't see. So God will send you things that are exactly what you're asking for, but since you don't have a vision and believe that it's even coming, first of all, you don't believe it's coming. So when it does come, you're not even really looking for it. So here it is, yeah, but I'm not even looking for it. I don't expect it to come. So why would you look for something you don't expect? So you've already brought the opportunity to you. It usually shows up in the form of a problem or a situation. It's really a situation, and the situation is the opportunity. So this thing comes to you in the form of an opportunity. Okay, you have now an opportunity to do anything you want. You can sow and reap. I want millions of dollars. Here's millions of dollars of opportunity to sow. And here's the one beautiful thing. It happens increment by increment, little by little. If you understand the law of increasing returns, you know if you give $1, you're going to receive 100 or 1,000. It's just the way that God works. God set up the universe by law. So if I'm given $1 in the right spirit, I'm going to receive 100. If I give $100 in the right spirit, I'm going to receive 1,000 or 10,000. If I sold 10,000 in the right spirit, I'm going to receive 100,000. I'm going to receive 1,000,000 or 10 million. If I sow in the right spirit, that's not to say that you're going to go out today and sow seeds, because everybody has a choice. You can do one of two things. You can eat your seed corn, which I have done my whole life. And when I've made mistakes and I'm in a bad spot, I'm eating my seed corn. It doesn't mean God hates me. It means that I'm eating my seed corn. I have this seed corn to plant so that I can get an abundance of crop. But instead of planting it, I ate it. That's the problem. Then when I want something else, okay, I'll get more seed corn to plant. See, that's the difference. I'm looking at a universal law. We're looking at universal law. We are not looking at physical linear law. It says in the Bible, when you're led by the Spirit, you're free from the law. So what it means is I don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff and jump through a whole bunch of hoops. I'm free from the law of man. I'm free from silly things. I'm free from having to do the silly stuff because it's silly. What I can do now is I can follow God perfectly and I'll just be led to what I want. I'll be led to the perfect circumstance. I'll be led to the perfect situation. So this is how God works, I'm realizing. This is how God works. Because that's what we're doing. And the moves that God is going to tell you to make are very small and seemingly insignificant. That's another challenge with listening for the right thing. What to do is going to be a very small voice. It's going to be a tiny voice, but it's going to be significant once you take the action. It'll seem insignificant before you take the action, but it will be significant once you take the action. You'll know exactly why you were led to turn left and go into the chicken spot. You'll know exactly that reason why, only after. But you can't predict anything before it happens. Just go forward. This is the reason why if you try to get a tarot reading or an astrology reading for your life and you're trying to judge your whole life off tarot and astrology, the problem with that is you close yourself off to options, is what you do. God can use any option that's in front of you to guide you, any of them. And God is using all options. So wherever you are, you're in a perfect spot because God is the opener of doors and closer of doors. So when you get a door that's open to you, just walk through. You see what I'm saying? So God will tell you to do those things. So here's another thing too. Regardless what you believe God is, it doesn't matter. It matters to you, but it doesn't really matter. And what I mean by it matters to you, if you say God is maniacal, evil, twisted, it's going to be true for your life, not mine. First of all, because it's not true. God is not that. The universe is not even set up to do bad. This set up for life. If you look in nature, everything goes to more life. It always tends toward more life indefinitely. So if that's the case, I know that God is not bad. God is always toward more life. So if you think that way, that's how you think. It's not true, but it's going to be your experience of life. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. A pen? I don't have one in my pocket. Working with God is very simple. If you have God, you have an advantage. You have an advantage over a person who has to learn so much stuff and learn so much science before they can just simply go into a vibrational state. If you have to learn so much and know so much, these theories are hard to put together, number one. If you are intelligent enough to put the theories together, you're still going to have to lean on believing and doing a rule of believing anyway. You're going to have to still go into the vibration that you want. You can know quantum mechanics and know, all these particles are just particles and it's collapsing the reality I'm expecting to have. But if you still expect the negative reality, quantum mechanics is still working, but you're not working it for your life. So it's cool to know quantum mechanics. It does show how God has set this up in a very scientific way, but still the laws that are there are still mental laws. You see, you still have to think. You still have to correct your thinking. The correct thinking is this, by the way. God has already given me what I want. This is the correct thinking. God already gave me what I want. There's nobody who can take it from me. The doors that are open, if these things are for me, I'm requesting by the grace of the grace of God, the power that's been bestowed on me. I'm going to open this doors if it's for me in a way that no man can shut it, including myself. So now when I move into a room, I know that I belong there because it wouldn't have opened up if I didn't belong here. So now if I go into a place, I know I belong there now. Why? Because I set my mind up that way to where if I walk into a room, then I'm supposed to be there. If I don't walk into that room, I'm not supposed to be there. And do these in such a way I can't even change it. That's very important too. The I can't change it part puts you in this state of I'm not. Here's the problem with if you don't say that. Let me say the problem if you don't say that. If you don't say open this door in such a way that no man can shut it, including myself, your ego gets involved, which means your old habits get involved. Who you used to be comes back up. And who you used to be as a person who would never take this action. So you start overthinking. You go into think mode. And you just think about it all the time. And you keep thinking about it. And you never do it, but you keep thinking about it. And you never do it, but you think about it. And you keep thinking about it. And you contemplate on it. And you research on it. Because what you're trying to do, you're trying to figure out more information to make it more realistic for you. What you're trying to do is control everything. You're like, let me do as much research as I can to know everything. Once I know everything, I'll move. Or once I know enough information, then I'll move. And you do have to know enough information, but the information you need to know is vibrational information. You don't need to know the logical information and the how-to information. So you do need information, but you're looking for the wrong information. People who know what they want, they make a decision, they do it, they make a decision, and then they just follow the decision because they know God put them in that decision. So they don't pull out because they don't have that background insecurity of believing that it was them. If you know that it's God that put you there, there's no insecurity for me being here because God put me here because I asked to only be in places that God put me. And making it open so that the door can't even close when I wanted to. So even if I'm scared, I'm still going to do it. So if you ever get called to do something that's very positive for your life, but you're scared to do, and you hear people talk about, you got to overcome fear. The way you overcome fear is, you know, God put you there and that you had nothing to do with it. If you know you don't have anything to do with it, you can't mess it up. It's God who put me here, and God is always for my greatest benefit. So if you know this for a fact, then you can walk through doors and not even think about it. This is like a foolproof system. This is what the Bible talks about. This is what this whole book talks about. It also talks about the punishments or the problems that come up when you do not follow God or you don't follow the law. That means swim upstream. When you don't go with the stream, you swim upstream, what happens? Same thing happens when you go upstream. You have a very challenging time and you almost drown, or you do drown. If you go with the current, it's not to say you won't drown, but downstream is much easier than upstream. Trust me. It's already going to be wild and rocky. It's going to be a roller coaster anyways. So just get ready to have fun on the roller coaster. But you want to have fun on the roller coaster and know where you're going. That's the truth. If you don't know where you're going, you can be very insecure. If you don't know that what God has for you and where God is taking you is good, you can be very insecure and anxious. But the minute that you know that God put you wherever you're going, and that the bad is good wherever you went, and you're going to learn from it, and that changes the game for you because you're learning from it. Once you understand that, then it's really over. Think about that. Think about that. So if you don't believe in God, there's really nothing I could do for you. That's a true statement because the only thing, after you get to a certain age, or not even age, it's just a certain level of wisdom. Max Planck, who was just a father, who was called the grandfather of physics. That's what they called him. This man did so much scientific research that he came to the experience that God must be real. Literally, he said he did so much research scientifically, the father of physics, that he said, my research has led me to know that there must be a central source organizing intelligence to this place because it operates in too much intelligence for there not to be an infinite intelligence. Perceiving whether you're swimming upstream or downstream is the balancing act. That definitely is the balancing act because you got to be in tune with how you feel. You got to be in tune with the Holy Spirit. If you're not in tune with the Holy Spirit, see, another thing about Holy Spirit and feelings, they are different. The Holy Spirit, I believe, works within your feelings, but I don't think your Holy Spirit is your feelings. Let me explain. So when you follow the Holy Spirit, it's still that element of this is not me. It's that element there. So it goes beyond ego. You can feel very good about it. Like, yes, this is the direction I'm supposed to go. But you can be deceived with your head feelings where your body will crave something that you don't really want. It's just in the habit of doing it. Okay, that's flesh cravings. Impulses, compulsion. Compulsion is different than Holy Spirit guidance. Holy Spirit is intelligent. Cravings are unintelligent. They're just cravings. It doesn't matter if it's good for you or bad for you. It's just a craving. So cravings, if you act on them mentally or physically, will take you downward and make you feel bad. If you act on the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit itself feels good. So it's bliss. So whatever action you're doing is perfect. The Holy Spirit is making the actions through you, though. You'll feel like you taking the actions, you taking the steps, but the Holy Spirit is taking the actions through you. That's how it works. So you don't have to really think about it. Now, it also talks about demons. So let's talk about the dark side of the book. Okay, so it talk about demons. It talk about being possessed. It talk about the adversary, Satan. It talks about burning in hell. It talks about thousands of years of turmoil. It talks about a lot of things like that. This book does. So what is that talking about? Well, if you decide to continue to go against the grain of the universe, you're going to end up in a momentum of going against the universe, which means you're going to be in a momentum of losing. You have to lose. Then you get lost in logic. This is what I did, at least. I got totally lost in logic and intellect because I was trying to make certainty. I was trying to be certain. And realize it's just only a certain amount of studying you can do. You have to actualize your studies. You got to actualize it. What it means to actualize it is first connect with God. That's the first thing. Without connecting with God, there's nothing you can do. That's first. And it happens within you. Second thing is work with God. I think one of the best books to work with God is this. Most people will most people would not necessarily recommend this book, but it is the Kabbalion. Can y'all see this straight up? The Hermetica. The Hermetica has 7 Hermetic principles that help you understand how God's mind is structured. God has set this place up exactly how he is. So God has set this place up mentally. God has set this place up in a high vibration. It is life tending. God has set this place up as a rhythm. Spring always follows winter. Summer always comes after spring, etc., etc. It's set it up cyclically so you can understand it and get a grasp of what to do when. There's a rhythm to it. There's polarity to it. There's inner magnetism in it. There's structures in it, just the way that it is. So when you're looking for the truth of something, so let's say you get an impulse. One of the questions was that we got that I was going to literally do a video on. I still might. He said, what about people who want to be rich and they gamble, but they don't get rich? What's going on with that? Here's the problem with that. That desire is a flesh desire. Why is that person wanting to be rich? What's going on? And why are you going to casino to do it? It's not about gambling. It's about the feeling. So you're trying to look for a feeling, and you're getting a feeling from what exactly? Taking a risk, taking a chance. And what's on the other side? Let's ask this. If the stakes weren't that the fact that you can get 10x, 100 extra money, would you do it? Why is it so exciting? Because wow, that money just went up and it went away. So you're excited that the money went up and it go away and you feel down or you feel whatever the emotions you feel. Truth is, you're looking for a roller coaster of emotions, but you really are looking for a way to come up. You want to feel good. You think that coming up will make you feel good, and I think it would. But the come up is you got these certain feelings about your life. This is what I would like to feel. I would like to feel good. Okay, you want to feel good. You go to the casino. What if you win big? What if you hit a jackpot? What if you put a penny in and you get $20,000 or you get $4,600? What if you put $1 in and you win 100 grand? It's the potential for great gains and quantum leaps that make you feel good. It's like I want to explode and grow in a massive way. That's how you feel. You can grow in a massive way. But why are you at the casino? Why are you gambling to do it? The reason you gamble is because that's how you think you're going to feel good. You think that this is the way to get your needs met. It's the only way that you can even get close to getting your needs met right now. So that's the reason you're doing it. Your need met for uncertainty. Your need met for connection. If you win, they celebrating you. You got a good story to tell. You feel like you're winning. Feels good, right? Okay, that's what you're looking for when you go gamble. So it's nothing wrong with what you want. You're just swimming upstream to get it. And it's actually downstream if you would just let yourself go there. So instead of going against the grain, like you've been doing, now you're in the habit of going against the grain. So you're doing the wrong things. What does it mean to do the wrong things? Well, who's to judge the wrong things? It just ends you up in a place that feels worse than what you feel right now. The seeds that you're depositing right now let me give you an example. If you had relations with a person who you don't love, who you don't feel good about, you got a temporary high, a temporary dopamine hit of an experience. Doesn't feel good though for the long term. But have relations with a person who you connected to in the soul, in the divine, who loves you, you have a totally different experience. It energizes you, it gives you a completely different experience. So, total same physical act, not the same physical act. Yeah. Totally different. It gives you a totally different experience. What's the difference? One has God there, one doesn't. That really is the difference. One has God in it, one does not. One has the life-giving spirit of energy in the act of relating, in that act of relations. The other one doesn't, and it doesn't feel good. So what's the difference between sin and obedience? It's that. Which one has the divine inspiration in it? When you go and do something that has the divine inspiration in it, it works because the divine inspiration is in it. That's the reason it works. Do anything without the divine inspiration in it being put into it, you lose. And it feels bad. And it feels bad. What's up? What's up? Thank you for being here. So, the whole reason for me going live tonight is I'm being obedient by going live. I'm being obedient. And it is challenging in the beginning of being obedient all over again, even if you haven't been obedient for a while and now you're starting to be. First resistance wall for me is God, this God talk, I hate the God talk. Everybody talk about God. Nobody know what they talk about. That's a wall for me. Got over it. Okay. God is the only way, it's the truth. Way, the truth, the life. Okay, check. Secondly, doing the things you feel impulsed to do in connection with the Holy Spirit is completely different from being compulsive for the flesh. And I feel like the one difference is the nature of the action you call to do. The Holy Spirit is going to call you to do very aligned and connected action. The flesh is going to lead you to do a very disconnected, want to get something out of the interaction action because it's so scared that it won't get the benefit right away. So that is what the flesh wants. It wants immediate gratification. So if I'm going to give you this, you got to give me something back right now. Because I'm afraid that you'll never pay me. So you need to pay me because, look, I have this value. You need to give me my value. I want value right now. That's what the ego says. That's what it sounds like. Truth is, I don't want to get a return from you because you probably can't even give me all of what these seeds are going to be benefiting me in the future. I'm planting a seed in you right now. If you gave me something back, that'd just be like, I would waste my harvest. I would rather get a harvest from the cosmos than get a harvest from you. And even if I do get a harvest from you, it's going to be so modest to the point where I'm still giving you way more than you paying me. Because my whole intention is to get paid from the universe. It's to get paid from God. I want my payment to come from God. God pays better, more consistently, give me way more than I deserve for the work I do because it's in alignment with God's plan. God's plan is always the best plan. God's plan is always the best plan. So if I'm following God's plan, it's the best plan. It works better. And the thing is, you don't have to wait to see that. As soon as you start following God, it's going to start working. It's going to work immediately. Now, I do think that there's nuances to it. Like, I'm going to give you an example. Imagine if you're working with God and then you lose your job right after you start working with God. You go, this don't work. I just literally died. I just got out of a job. Like, my job just fired me. You told me this would work. And I would tell you it is working. Now, since you got fired, follow the next step that you feel guided to right now. What is it? Exactly. Everything happened for a reason. So, and I would tell you right now, what is it? Most people will not be able to answer that question because you're not connected. You're not connected to your physical body and what it's saying to you. It should vibrate. Your body did vibrate when I just asked that question right now. The first thing you should do maybe is get a goal in the first place. First thing you should do maybe is connect with your deepest self. Some of your first goals is I need to connect with the divine in me right now because I don't even feel it. Here's going to be the scary part too. You're going to be trying to connect, and it's not going to work. So you're going to want to give up. Because the connection don't happen the first time. After you try to turn over the engine of a car, after it hasn't run for 20 years, okay, you're going to have to get the dust off of it first. It's going to take something, a little tweaking to get that car started. Same thing with connection. How do you connect divinely? Meditation is good. Meditation is good. Reading the Bible is even good. But the best way is to close your eyes and directly ask for a connection. Go inside and ask for a connection. I would like a connection. Give me that, and whatever is the best way for me to receive that now. That's what you ask for. Because some people are going to go meditate. You might have a revelation that just flashed into your mind that day. Yeah. You have no idea how it's going to come. But when it comes, it'll be perfect for you if you request it to be given to you in a perfect way. Okay? I'm hopping off here. It's been an hour. Didn't even feel like it. I hope that y'all having a beautiful night, that y'all do have a beautiful night. If y'all got any questions, go watch the videos, leave the comments. I'm out. Peace.